hello, Jimmy, is that you?
Anderson, how did you get my number?
I've just been typing in random phone numbers until yours came up. Turns out that the 538th time really was the charm.
Go figure.
Look, I need your help, okay? I may have submitted an application for a robot combat fighting event for me to cut my teeth on. Problem is, it's a little bit underground. It's the kind of place where you can grapple for longer than 30 seconds. Robots are mostly anti-pit cages. High stakes. They even thought that the fog of war was a good idea, for crying out loud.
No way.
Yes way!
Okay, well, what's your issue then?
Well, I submitted my application.
Oh really? Can I see your robot?
No, I kinda haven't built it yet.
Can I at least have a look at the design?
You sure? I mean, it's quite bad. It's the reason why I'm in trouble with the Robot Mafia to begin with.
Yeah, I'd like to have a look. It can't be that bad, surely.
Your funeral.
It's not that bad. I can see it's a relatively simple design. Nothing terrible. If anything, the worst thing about it is you've drawn it on a bit of block roll.
It's a bloody napkin, man! Anyway, the Robot Mafia disagree. They're out to get me for this!
Because you drew it on bog roll?
Napkin!
Whatever. So there's a robot mafia. Who have you been dealing with? What sort of competition is this?
Not important. Look, that drawing took me all night. Okay? You've got some experience and some success. You can design in CAD. Can you please design a robot for me so the Robot Mafia don't feed me to their robot fishes?
Look, my robotics expertise is laughable. At the very least, it's passable. That's why the series is called Robotic Idiotic. It's my journey into self-guided learning and educating while still being entertaining.
Well, can you put some self-guided learning into some CAD and educate me on how to build a robot in the process? And be entertaining. They'll break my robot legs, Jimmy!
Okay, fine. How much time do I have?
Oh, take as long as you need, buddy. There's no rush, trust me. Anyway, thanks a lot. I got a scoop. Take care. Bye-bye. Sucker. What the? Who the hell could that be? Bloody hell, he works fast. Yes, it's time for me to do something I've never done and always wanted to do, and that is build a robot. An actual robot, not just a model robot that I push around like a big child, because I am a big child, but no, a proper, fully functional robot. And of course I decided to start at the bottom of the pile with Antweights and work my way up. Now there's basically a bit of a system I'm going to be doing for this. I'm going to start on the chassis. And then once I've got the chassis sorted out, I will then work on the circuit. And then once I've got the circuit all done and dusted, I will then work on like the extras, like the decorations, etc., etc. Before we continue, I just want to quickly say a big thank you to Jimmi Cottam from Robotic Idiotic for supplying me this. He did the CAD for this. He also managed to get it 3D printed for me from another company. I'm not too sure on the details, but if you click on the video link down below, he has a video on his channel where he basically shows off how he did the CAD for this. You will also see my lovely mug in that video as well, so please go check that out. Not only did he do this though, he also gave me some instructions, which you can't really see very well there. Oh, there we go, you can sort of see them. So yeah, he sort of gave me a list of instructions on how to build it, so he has really been a big help with this project. So to build the chassis, I need a few things. Obviously the chassis itself, which comes in two parts, the top and the base. Some polycarbonate, which we'll get to in a moment, as well as some other things as well, such as tiny screws and nuts and bolts. Also, to make this Antweight, I'm going to be using some power tools, such as a power drill, a soldering iron, and a jigsaw. Now, I don't think I really need to tell you guys that these are incredibly dangerous tools, so if you are planning on building a robot of any size, make sure you use the correct safety instructions for these things. And make sure you know what you're doing. And of course, if you are young, please make sure that you have adult supervision at all times. And of course, as with anything of this capacity, it's always recommended to have a brew with you. My drink of choice is a lovely cup of coffee with 2 sugars. And to help soak it up a little bit, I've also got myself some lemon drizzle chocolate digestives, which sound weird, but are actually very tasty. So first up, I need to cut up my polycarb, which is this. Now, what I've done is I've already marked out the sizes I need. So these are 4.5 by 3 centimetre rectangles. I need to cut these out using my hacksaw or jigsaw or whatever the hell it is you've got. And then I'm going to be lining it up to go on the side bits of the chassis. And voila, I have 2 pieces of polycarbonate. Now, what I need to do is take these and line them up against the chassis. And the reason I need to do that is so I can use my trusty black Sharpie to mark out where I need to drill holes into both the polycarbonate and the chassis so I can bolt and screw this in place. I'm also putting the motor there so I can mark out where roughly the motor mount was going to go through as well. And with the help of my trusty drill, I've managed to drill the holes in the polycarb. Not only that, though, I've also managed to drill where I need to put the screws to hold them in place. Speaking of which, here are the screws. I'm now going to use these screws to screw these onto the base of the chassis. Ta-da! And now I've done that. Now, annoyingly, these screws I got are actually too small. So I've had to use other screws, but I've only got one of each of that other size at the moment. But that will be sorted soon, hopefully. But we can ignore that. I mean, it's pretty much there. So now I'm going to use my trusty drill to drill the holes here and here into these hoops so I can put the bolts through to hold it all in place. Not only that, but I'm also going to use my trusty drill to drill holes into where the motor mounts need to be, so I can then screw them in place as well. And lo and behold, that be done. As you can see, there's the holes going through the hoops, and there's the holes in place for the motor mounts. I'm forgetting my words. I'm an old man, don't forget. So now I'm going to stick these motors in place, and then I can start working on the circuit. And there we go. So as you can see, if I take the shell off, I've put the motors in place, the motor mounts in place. I've also put the wheels on because it looked a bit silly without them on at this point. So now what I have to do is build the circuit and then finish off doing the decorating, and then I'm done. But like I said, I have to do the circuit first. So this is the stuff I'm going to be using to make the circuit. First of all, the remainders of the Bristol Bot Builders Antweight kit. The motors, motor mounts, and wheels were also part of that kit. So yeah, we've still got a switch. We've got whatever that is, and whatever that is, like I said, I have no idea. But yeah, so we've got all that to go, and we've also got the receiver. It is a FS-IA6 receiver, which goes for my FlySky transmitter, which I will show you and go into a bit more detail with later on. Let's get out of the spotlight because you can't really see it very well. But yeah, so that and that all need to be connected. I do also need to have a LiPo battery. Unfortunately, the LiPo battery hasn't arrived yet. I am waiting for it to arrive. But I'm a very, very impatient git, really, so I've decided to just do what I can do for now and then finish it off when the LiPo battery gets here. And also to make the circuit, we are going to need a back as well, which I didn't know I needed until after I recorded the last bit of footage. That would have been nice to have known beforehand, but oh well. So, yeah, I've got a back here as well. Also, just quickly, I've updated this polycarb panel. This is one of the polycarb panels which goes on to Anterson. As you can see, I've already started on a bit of the circuit here. I've basically cut these wires down, resoldered them together, and then used electrical tape to tape them back up so they don't short out. And on this piece of polycarb here, what I've essentially done is I've added another piece of polycarb. That's saying polycarb a lot. And then I've put the switch here. This is just so it's easy to get to. And yeah, now I'm going to attach this switch to the rest of the circuit. And voila, we have a completed circuit. Sort of. I think this is all right. That's what happens when your soldering iron accidentally comes into contact with your polycarbonate, so do be careful. But as you can see, we've got the switch in place. I was going to bolt it in place, but there wasn't enough room for the bolts without the plastic snapping, so I glued it instead. I've got my beck soldered into the switch. I've got this plug soldered into the switch. I've got them soldered together. I had to cut this wire down and then resolder them back together as well. So this plug's got to now be plugged into the receiver, and this plug's got to be plugged into the LiPo battery. And this has got to be attached back to the chassis. So that's the circuit pretty much inserted in place. I've rescrewed this back on. As you can see, here's the switch, which works a charm. And then that goes around to the beck. There's plenty of room at the back there for the beck just to sit there all happily. And then, of course, that goes through here into the receiver. And then this plug here is what plugs into the LiPo. So now the circuit is complete. All that's really left to do is take the shell and give it a lick of paint. Guess what? I now have a LiPo. I probably shouldn't have slammed it down that hard. These are very, very flammable. Do not be silly with them, I think is the preferred term. It's definitely the technical term, but it's the preferred term. So now I have to plug that into that, which is a very strenuous job, but there we go. So that's plugged in, but even with all my hard work of shortening wires, etc., it is going to be a bit crowded in here, but being honest, I think I can do it. So what I've got to do now is put the shell back on and then just bolt these bits into the self-righting hoop things, and yeah, it's then pretty much ready. And here is Anterson sort of complete. Little power test. Oh, look at that. The light is flashing. That means I didn't fuck the circuit up. Pardon my language. So, with that in mind, I've done all that. So, I guess the only thing I've really got to do now is hook up the transmitter, which annoyingly means taking this back off again, which was a bit of an arseache to put on because these bolts are incredibly tiny and very fiddly, and I swore quite a lot whilst trying to get this to go on, but it's worth it to get a robot working. Right, apologies. In my frustration of trying to get this sorted out and doing what I wanted it to do, I completely forgot to record the process of me sort of setting up the transmitter, etc., etc., and, you know, putting this all back together again. I did test it, however, it wasn't on any surface, so I just saw the wheels spinning. Now I've tested it, and I'm certain it works properly. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a test run, and then when we've done that, we can skip straight ahead to a bit of a montage of it working, hopefully. So, fingers crossed. Let's first of all turn the machine on. There we go. So the light is flashing. Turn transmitter on. Yep. Ah. One of the switches was in the wrong place. Didn't realise that. What a fool. Right. Let's give it a little go. Ooh. It moves. It turns. And it moves where I want it to go. I've built a robot! Look at this! Oh man, that's awesome! It actually moves! I didn't mess it up at all! It works! I can't believe that! Obviously the driving's going to have to be a bit improved, because, you know, driving and all, but I'm genuinely really chuffed with that. So, I guess that means that we can skip ahead to the montage. It lives! Well, I did it! I genuinely can't believe it. I actually managed to build a robot 21 years after I first set my eyes upon Robot Wars and Robot Combat. I finally built my own robot. My very, very first one that isn't one that you push around like a muppet because I'm an immature child. No, a legit moving mobile robot. And okay, it's an Antweight, but everyone starts somewhere, don't they? It's a nice little learning curve. It's not perfect, I'll admit. I could have done a lot better job with the polycarb, for example. I had to re-drill a couple of holes here and there because it didn't quite line up first attempt. The wheels aren't quite in the right, they aren't quite aligned properly. The wedge doesn't come across the floor. But for a build, I've done it. I've built the robot. I can improve all that at a later date, and I'm sure I will do. So yeah, just genuinely chuffed, really. And not only did I do it, but I did it without any problems whatsoever. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on! Come on, you motherfucking whores-arsing, twat-bagging fuck-nucket! Piece of shit! Just... What the... Get the fuck out, Will! What the hell is going on there? I need that. Where's it gone? Just like every fucking stripper I know, a complete and utter whore. Whoever invented soldering needs to be shot in public between the eyes, execution style. Where the fuck is that gone? Just fucking plug it in already! Come on! Why will you not solder, you racist? Seriously, where the fuck's it gone? This soldering wire is clearly a Trump supporter. I'm just saying that now. Fuck's sake! What the hell? Who did that?
It was me. I have hacked your video.
Who are you? Why?
You simple fool, it was me who started the robot mafia, so I could expose you to the world for the foul-mouthed, angry git you really are.
But they already know that.
They do?
Yes! And I made up the robot mafia to get Jimmy to do the CAD for me!
This is an awkward coincidence.
Look, hang on. Let me just adjust some video filters and the audio. Just give me a second.
No. I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Oh, poo.
Jimmy, it was you all along? You're the robot mafia?
Yes.
Why did you do it?
Bored, innit? Lockdown. Not really a lot to do.
Well, I guess that makes sense. Hey, wait a minute. How are we even talking right now?
Oh, we're talking to each other through our cameras. People have been doing it that way in video collaborations for years now.
Huh. That would have been handy to know before I tried calling you 538 times.
Yeah.
Well, whilst you're here, I may as well say thank you for all the work you did on the Anterson CAD for me. It was a great help. I couldn't be more grateful if I'm honest.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Really, nothing to it. And if any of your viewers out there want to see more of my content, then feel free to subscribe to Robot.
Hack my video, will you? Revenge is sweet, Jimmy boy. Hey guys, it's Anderson here. Just before you guys go, I wanted to say a few quick thank yous. First off, I want to say thank you to all who have watched this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I hated making it. I also want to thank Bristol Bot Builders for selling me the Antweight kit and the Beck that I use for building Anterson. The BBB guys are genuinely wonderful people who are doing God's work at the moment. On their website, not only can you find tips on how to get started in robot combat, but you can also buy beginner kits that are affordable and useful. Click the link in the description below to visit their website. Also not sponsored. Also a huge thank you to Ben from Team Panic. His video on how to set up a transmitter to a receiver was a godsend and extremely easy to follow. He is responsible for the Team Panic YouTube channel, which offers many helpful tips for robot building. I'm lucky enough to know Ben on a semi-personal level, and he is genuinely a wonderful human being, so please click the link down below to visit his channel. Next up is a massive thank you to my good friend Oliver Stapley. He spent many an hour with me on Discord explaining how to put together the circuit for Anterson. Without him, I would have been incredibly lost. Down below are two links. The first will take you to his personal channel, The Dork Knight, where he uploads videos about his Beetleweight crossbow and the occasional meme. The second is to the ESC channel, aka the Extreme Scrutiny Club, which Oliver is also a part of. ESC is essentially Room 101 for fighty robots and topics of robot fighting. It's great fun and really interesting to watch, so go check out both those links now. And last, but by no means least, a huge thank you to Jimmi Cottam. Not only did he edit the entire intro to this video and his own glitchiness at the end of this video, but he was responsible for making the CAD for Anterson and getting the shell 3D printed. He has been a good friend of the channel and me personally now for roughly 2 years, and is an absolute diamond. Click the links down below to see his video on the CAD process for Anterson, his YouTube channel and his music pages too. He's currently uploading a mini-series called Have I Finished My Beetle, which shows the build process of his Beetleweight robot. I highly recommend it. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys real soon. Take care.